Hello everyone. Today, me and my colleagues are going to talk about TPS system, and these are the outlines we are going to highlight on this presentation. So let's start first with what is TPS? Okay, what is a transaction processing system? It's an information processing system that captures and processes every single transaction that takes place within the organization. These transactions include collection, retrieval, notification, and all other sets of activities that trigger the retrieval of all transactions. A transaction processing system is highly reliable, consistent, and efficient. Okay, now let's figure out what are the functions of TPS. As we can see on this figure, TPS has four main functions. First one is input function. In this function, we can capture input data, enter input data, and validate input data. The second function is processing function. In this function, we can perform computation and make decision. The third function is output function. In this function, we can produce screen output and print output. And the last function is storage function, which means that we can store data, access data, and finally update data. Okay, now it's time to know what are the TPS objectives. As we see on this figure, we can find that TPS targets operational managers. TPS also monitors status on internal operational and firm's relationship with external environment. Transaction processing system also aimed at improving the routine business activities on which all organizations depend on.
What type of system is TPS? Transaction process is a computerized system. As we mentioned before, it helps us to collect, store, modify, retrieve the data transaction. Now, we are talking about some examples of TPS. Number 1, hotel reservation. TPS is extremely useful in reservation of all types wherein the consumer needs an instant verification of the request. Point of sale. Correct price of the product is received once the product code is entered. Number 3, online airline reservation, used to know the available places, tickets, and everything about the flight.
Now we're going to talk about batch processing. A TPS interprets sets or batches of a data by grouping items based on similarities using batch processing. In a batch processing system, transactions are accumulated over a period of time and processed as a single unit. As an example, a store may update its sales record every day after the store closes, or a payroll system may process all time cards every 2 weeks to determine employee earning and produce paychecks. Whatever the time period in a batch system, there is some time delay between the actual event and the processing of the transaction to update the record of the organization. As for the real-time processing refers to the processing of transactions as they occur. This helps to avoid processing delay and can provide more accurate results. As an example, a TPS may be used by an e-commerce website to process credit card transactions in real time to ensure payment before the company begins its fulfillment process. Real-time transaction processing also allows the company to identify and address error more quickly, as well as improve overall response times.
We're going to talk about who uses TPS. Users of a TPS are mainly informal users. As we mentioned before, TPS targets operation managers. Operation managers are responsible for monitoring daily activities of business, as we can call it day-to-day business transactions. Users at the operation and management level make structured decisions. This means they have defined rules that guide them for making decisions. TPS users, who are operation managers, can be classified into data workers, which are secretaries or clerks who assist with the administrative work at all levels of the firm, or production workers who actually produce and deliver service. And now we're going to talk about the importance of a TPS. The principal purpose of a TPS is to answer routine questions and track flow of transactions. TPS is the major production of information. It also monitors the status of the internal operations and the firm's relation with the external environment. And one of the major importance of a TPS is that it is highly central to business operations and functioning. And finally, we are going to mention some of the TPS advantages. First, TPS can increase transaction speed by minimizing waiting time for customers. Second, TPS can improve cost efficiency. TPS can conduct and organize thousands of transactions, which lead to saving the company's money by reducing the need to operate more than one system to meet the demands. Third, TPS can improve reliability. It can ensure that customers process transactions quickly and accurately.